Okay, well, here's the class schedule, and it's pretty straightforward again. I just want to go over some things and a way to kind of navigate what the course schedule is going to look like. So this is what we're covering for the entire semester. We have the weeks here, the date of the Monday that the week begins, and again, that Monday will be the day where the lectures, what you see here in this column, are posted to the YouTube channel, so you can look at those and review those. The subject matter that we're going to be covering, there's essentially 3 subject matters throughout the entire semester. Going to spend the first week talking about science and other ways of knowing to kind of orient you to the type of knowledge and information that we're dealing with and what some of those other knowledge areas are doing, and be able to distinguish those things, because I think that's really important. You know, we talk about science and we talk about what that means sometimes, but not always explicitly, so I find that it's really helpful to do that. We'll cover a little bit of the history of biogeography and the philosophers of life and the humans and societies that were describing the biogeography and the areas that they were living in and things. And so this is a really important first set of lectures to kind of orient you to the philosophy of the knowledge that we're dealing with, and a little bit about the history, okay? And so after science and other ways of knowing, we're going to spend a number of weeks talking about evolution and ecology, okay, really important. And then end the semester talking about the Anthropocene, this new era, that relatively new era on planet Earth, where human beings are having an outsized impact on the biogeography of the planet, okay? And so we're going to cover a lot of things there. All right, so subject, we've covered those. The lecture topics you can see here. And these will be the titles of the lectures of the lecture videos that will be on the YouTube channel. So the next thing that you want to pay attention to is the literature and the media that is for the week. And so these are the things that you're also going to want to be reading and listening to and watching for that week, in addition to the lecture material that I will be posting, okay? And so for this first week, your job is to focus on the syllabus, to read the syllabus, to read the schedule and understand it, and to watch the first lecture, week 1, the welcome video, where I talk about the structure of the course and what to expect, okay? Each week I'll have you listening or reading something, sometimes more than one. And so if it's a podcast, those podcasts links will be on eCampus. There'll be a folder for the podcast listening with the title and a link to that. You can listen on the website of the podcast show, or you can find the episodes on whatever podcast app you might have. All right, the title of the podcast the title of the podcast episode is in italics, and then the title of the podcast show follows that, okay? And so for next week, you're going to want to listen to the Hidden Brain podcast and the episode titled The Scientific Process. And the reason why I list this here is so that if there's ever an issue with the link, you can just put in the title and the podcast show into Google or your search engine or whatever, and find the show if the link is not working or if something happens, okay? So make sure that you're staying on top of that. And every week you'll have an organism of the week that will be on the YouTube channel. So take a look at that. And the organism of the week, of course, is a video that I create from my walking around town, going on hikes in the backyard, and just highlighting some common organisms that you might come across and talking about them a little bit. And it's a way to kind of just sort of break up the monotony of watching lecture videos and all the other material that we have, okay? So you'll have one each week starting the following week, August 31st, okay? And so just make sure you're paying attention to each week's additional reading or listening or watching, because this is going to be important for the exams. So anything that's in here that I cover, a podcast that I want you to listen to, or a reading that I want you to take a look at, that's fair game for the exam. So I do expect you to read these things, listen to these things, and watch these things. All right, so the assignments here, and I'm actually going to change this. Not going to have you sign the syllabus, but to read the syllabus, that's going to be really important. and make sure you understand it. As I mentioned in the syllabus video, if there's any issues or questions or things that are not quite clear, please let me know. You'll see that your assignment each week is a question of the week, so make sure that you're doing that. All right, and so this week's question is at the end of the first week's lecture slides video, so make sure you watch that all the way to the end, and click the link on eCampus that will take you to the Google form where you can answer the question of the week. And that question of the week, along with anything that's listed here, is due the Monday before the next week, right? And so in order for you to answer the first question of the week on time and to receive full points, you need to have completed that by August 30th. Okay, that's Sunday, before the next week begins. Okay, so if there's any sort of question about that, let me know. But everything that's listed in a particular row in the assignments column is due the Sunday before the next week's material gets posted. All right, and so for next week, you'll have an activity to complete and another question of the week that you'll need to turn in, and both of those assignments are due September 6th at the latest, right? So if there's any confusion about the due dates for these sorts of things, just let me know. But the best thing to do is to get all of your work done before Friday so that you can enjoy the weekend as best you can, and not worry about trying to finish something up on Sunday at 11:57 p.m. Okay? And so each week has assignments, except for the midterm exam week and, of course, the final week. There aren't any assignments due, okay? And you will always have something due before the next week's class. And sometimes that's a question of the week. Sometimes that's a reflection. But there are the only times that you don't, or the only week that you don't, is the week of October 12th. All right? So make sure you're turning in these assignments on time and you're staying on top of things. I put them in your calendar. Okay, so I've listed activities, I've listed reflections, question of the weeks, and those sorts of things. Our midterm exam is October 12th. It'll be online. It'll be released at 9 a.m. that Monday, and you'll complete it, and I'll grade it and give the results back to you. Okay, so this is the schedule. It's fairly straightforward. I will post the materials each week, and just stay on top of things. And if there's any questions or if there's any adjustments that we need to make, then I will definitely let you know. Thanks.